Hello, all you hardcore boxing fans out there. How are you doing? It's Russell here from Porky's Corner. You know that, don't you? That's why you've tuned in. We say the things that nobody dare say. Today I'm joined by my good friend and co-founder of Porky's Corner, RIKU. How are we doing, RIKU?
Good, thank you. We've been watching Instagram closely over the last 24 hours and laughing at the people at the DAZN party, so we've all had a good joke.
What's going on, RIKU? Fill me in.
So yesterday they had the launch party of DAZN UK where they seemed to invite most of the boxing media, but in addition to that, they invited loads of YouTubers like that guy Chunks, Maya Jammer's mate, that woman that does like the chicken shop dates and all sorts of funny celebrity type people, which to me indicates that all DAZN is looking to do is to make boxing a bit more of a circus for our entertainment with more glitz and glamour and celebrities. And what I was laughing at, a lot of smaller boxing blogs were invited. I'm not going to say the name of a particular blog that were taking photos of Maya Jama and others and saying hashtag game changed. I mean, this is what boxing has become, bribing journalists and whining and dining them in order to write positive stuff and giving them a bit of access to Eddie Hearn. That's what it all is. It's a big con, and you'll be brainwashed and pumped through your social media channels about how DAZN has changed the game and how the product's amazing. Yeah, that's my view on the whole thing. Was
the disappearing man there?
Of course he was. He's front and center, right? People taking photos with him, and Ade Akinfenwa was there with him, and he's good to catch up with.
Was he a footballer?
He's the guy that used to play for lower league clubs, the big sort of black centre forward that they said was the strongest footballer in Europe because he was like a big tank. So Belly was there obviously taking photos with his good friend, Ade Akinfenwa. But yeah, Belly was there. So imagine being there and all these bloggers and other boxing writers that are meant to be impartial are taking photos with Maya Jama and Laura Woods and Bellew and saying how the game has been changed.
Bellew walking around with his record button on, recording conversations.
Probably, yeah.
Allegedly.
Yeah, probably, yeah. We had people like Shane McGuigan there.
Shane McGuigan?
Sorry, yeah. I think a lot of it seemed like everybody was invited. I was speaking to a few people in boxing and they got invited, but they just sacked the off.
I weren't invited!
Well, you, Porky and Terry weren't invited, so nobody that's been on this channel has been invited, and nobody that's not pro Matchroom and DAZN haven't been invited. So I'm not sure whether we're going to get any invites, to be honest.
I don't think I'll be losing any sleep over sat in Eddie Hearn's dad's garden.
Hey, you could have a selfie with Bellew. Imagine that.
I don't like him. Tony Bellew, come see me. Moving on from the adventures of Tintin and Liar Eddie.
Hey, one more thing. Eddie was wearing a suit jacket, a shirt, slack pants, and white trainers. So that's a new look for him. But I guess it's the Canelo looking cool and, you know, younger and more hip to go along with the hair transplant.
He's had 2 sessions on hair transplant, hasn't he?
I mean, look, he's rolling back the years, isn't he?
Why couldn't he just have 1 session? Why instead of having 10 and doing it bit by bit, as if we're not going to suss out once he's had a few more?
And if people want to have hair sessions or if they want to get their teeth fixed, where should they go?
Cosmetic Beach. When you can get a fucking flight. Oh, 6 or 7 times my flight's been put back. What happens is they keep putting it back every 4 weeks, you know, because it's in red, isn't it?
Yeah,
really,
that's the thing, yeah.
Making me depressed.
Well, you know what? If you give some of your proceedings to a homeless charity and, you know, make a comeback, you might become a big star. That seems to be the thing. That one note, we saw our favorite boxer Tyson Fury hammering Lewis Hamilton for not paying taxes, yet this man, and claiming that he paid 9 million taxes to the UK last year. Yet this man spends most of his time in the US, and also I wonder, Lewis Hamilton announced yesterday that he was going to donate £20 million of his personal wealth to charities. I wonder whether we'll ever find out which charity Tyson Fury donated his money to Anybody that can find out the charity and get confirmation Tyson Fury donated his entire purse from the Wilder one fight to a charity gets a free Porky mug.
Yeah, we haven't got none left.
Well, they get some other merchandise, but anybody that can come with confirmation Tyson Fury indeed donated his entire salary for the Fury one fight to charity.
I've heard yesterday that the 9 million, he's got that wrong. I don't know if he's got a problem with the truth, a bit like his dad, you know, who had a bare knuckle fight for 100 grand.
But he can't remember who he had that fight with.
£1,000 here. I've got £1,000 here. I think it's in here.
I don't show on camera. You're going to get robbed if you show it.
It's been here ages. See ya. Yeah. Grand here. There's a grand here. It's been here. Is it 4 months? Been here 4 months. But Mickey Theo was going to add 9 to it, so that's 10,000 to anybody who's got information leading to the guy who John Fury fought for £100,000 and knocked him out in 1992. John said this in an interview in The Sun, just like Tyson did in an interview in The Sun, that he gave 7 million to charity. Eddie Hearn put pressure on Coogan to ask him about it. Coogan didn't want to do, so Coogan asked him sheepishly, and he got shut down, didn't it? And nobody dared ask him. So somebody from America asked, didn't he? And they got shut down too. Now, point one, and they get shut down asking about the drugs charges as well, don't they? And this is what you're up against. Once you tell a lie, you've got to tell another or shut it down. Now, these are pretty competent at lying now. It just flows off the tongue, doesn't it? So I don't believe the 9 million. I don't believe a word he says, because he's told a lie already about the charity. So it's no, all he says to me is no good. I'm like Wilder. I don't believe it now. Same as the
boxing's the only game where, you know, journalists are so timid that they won't ask the questions because they're afraid of access. Imagine a footballer, a Premier League footballer, making stuff like that.
It'd be destroyed.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, people would find out, you know, this is the only sports, even athletics, the Olympians, right? They can't make stuff up. But in boxing, you can make it up. I mean, we've got somebody posing to be a heavyweight contender's brother, yet everybody goes along with this lie, right? You know, imagine any other sport if you said, if you, Ross Porky, said that you were Dean Rooney and you pretended to be Wayne Rooney's brother. Imagine that. Do you think
Best would be all over it, wouldn't they? Imagine Oliver Holt.
Yeah. Imagine the son and
they'd be running about like that, wouldn't they?
Exactly.
What you got to say about this, Wayne? Is Dean here your brother? Let's have birth certificates out.
Yeah, exactly. Come on. I mean, boxing's the only game where we actually have legitimate boxing journalists in their interviews referring to someone with a fake name and pretending that he's the brother. Yeah,
it's craziness on a massive scale.
Right, I watched a very old Dillian White documentary where his mom's been interviewed, his sisters and others, and she never mentions that she has a son, and the sisters never mention that they have a brother. Yet this is all out there. Yet nobody's going to question this idea that he has a brother.
Dean White, you're welcome on Porky's Corner anytime. You're enthusiastic about boxing and passionate, and I like that. But you know, if you come on here, Dean, don't you, that I'll be asking you real boxing questions. I won't be hula hooping you like them at Pet Talk do. Although that's a good channel, Pet Talk.
It's a good channel.
Pet Talk UK, very good. But they're not putting it on him though, are they? Come on.
No. Pep Talk is a good channel. But look, it's the game of access, right? The idea that if you start asking the questions, you're not going to get access. And that's what's wrong with boxing.
Well, what about sporting icons? He don't mention it, does he? He's supposed to be man of the people, isn't he?
He is.
Every time I see him, he's bigging up Dylan White, but he's not asking about this Dean White character, is he?
I wonder whether he got an invite yesterday because a lot of smaller outlets got invites to take their photos with Belly and Maya Jama.
Hey, we're not saying sporting icons don't know his boxing, because he does. But, you know, we have to be transparent, don't we, in this sport, Rico, don't we? I don't need access because they do my job for me, all these liars and vagabonds and charlatans. They make my job a lot easier, Rico. Right then.
So people come to you if they want to get their truth out in boxing. So
yeah,
people that the voice of silence.
I'll just say I've got 2 videos coming out tonight. One is it's got a British title. That's a surprise for you all. Although the last, well, let's just say I'm not going to say anything, but that's a good one. And the other one is Dave Colwell wired for sound? That's at 6:30. So 6 p.m. and 6:30. Real treats for you tonight. Right, Rico, the big talking point yesterday. I'll let you lead off.
So Canelo Plant has fallen through the fight. Negotiations have broken down, so it doesn't look like it's going to happen. Team Plant, we haven't heard from Canelo, say that the PBC Fox pay-per-view, so Canelo was meant to fight in that pay-per-view on PBC show, would have guaranteed Canelo's highest purse of his career, so $40 million plus Mexican TV rights and his Hennessy sponsorship. And then also, they also gave him in the negotiations upside of the gate and pay-per-view revenue. So, he would have made a lot of money. So, I mean, who's to blame? That's the question. Did Team Canelo ever want this fight? Did DAZN and Eddie Hearn swoop in? What happened, right? This is the fight that could have unified the belts for Canelo and also legitimately made him the best guy in the division without a single shed of anybody's doubt. What's your thoughts, Hawkins?
Right, first of all, when one of them broke the story, Eddie Hearn come out and said he'd do it best for his fighters and he wished Canelo all the best and he was still part of the team. Now, and that it's all about undisputed. Well, Joshua could have fought Wilder after the Vladimir fight and that would have been all about exclusive. All about undisputed. But they dragged their heels over that. So undisputed didn't mean anything 4 years ago, did it? But now all of a sudden it's all about Canelo being undisputed. And then obviously news broke last night that he were all up in air again, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen now. So Canelo's going to fight against somebody else.
Yeah. So I don't know what to make of amino acids for like horse tablets, aren't they?
Well, we were talking offline, weren't we, about this fact that Eddie Hearn says he's part of a team. If it's a PBC promotion, would his name be on the poster? Matchroom Boxing? Probably not. No. Canelo has his own promotional company.
He's not his manager.
Press conference? Probably no. He's not. He doesn't manage Canelo.
Yeah.
Would he take a cut from it? Probably not, because he's not Canelo's promoter exclusively. I don't think they have another. The deal has ended, so Canelo's a free agent, so he can fight wherever he wants. So Eddie Hearn probably missed out on some money, and I imagine that Canelo will end up fighting against someone like Bivol on DAZN for half the money, and they're just guaranteed to keep the, easy fights rolling for him on DAZN, and that means Eddie makes money and DAZN gets to keep Canelo.
Yeah, it's a funny situation, isn't it, really? Because without Canelo, and if Joshua's dragging his heels now with Sky, and he's going to stay with Sky, Eddie's gonna sink in it. And that media day yesterday, I think it were all a bit forced, wasn't it? Really, it were all a bit papering over cracks type of thing, wasn't it? I think they realised that they could be outside looking in that lot now. Now Eddie's surrounded himself with all these hula hoopers, like Caldwell, Bellew, Darren Barker, Chris Lloyd, all them sort of people. But was Anthony Joshua there at that media day?
Nope.
Was Freddie Cunningham there?
I haven't seen him being there. I wouldn't be surprised if he was there, but I don't think it's his thing, right?
Well,
258 to their own 258 to their own team. Eddie's the event manager.
I didn't see any interviews with Freddie Cunningham. I didn't see anybody from 258 there. So that's a statement in itself moving forward. So, but I saw the hula hoopers, the company men, Bellew, all that, Barker, Caldwell, all that lot were there, weren't they?
Mm-hmm. what it's all become is it's basically propaganda and brainwashing. So what they want to do is they want to convince the boxing casual, the casual boxing and sporting fan that the zone puts on the best fights.
That everything's okay and all that.
Everything's okay, and that's been done through, coercing these people on social media and these boxing influencers and these other influencers like Chunks and.
Well, Rob Tebbett there. Well, Rob Tebbett there.
No, he wasn't. He wasn't there actually. I think
I'm surprised because every time I see Shane McGuigan, I see Rob Tebbett hanging out of the back of him. So
he wasn't there, but I don't think I'm not sure whether it was malicious or not, but then again, I always think Rob and Eddie have a bit of a fractious relationship because Rob, to his credit, actually asks Eddie tougher questions than the other YouTubers.
Not as tough as I'd ask.
Yeah.
If Canelo has a one-fight deal with Heyman, it looks like they've been at the table. They might have just been sat there sniffing. I mean, Eddie might have said, by all means, go and speak to him and just have a little look. Do what's best for your fighter, because that's what they do. They like to make out they're in control. Yeah, go and speak to him, go and speak to everybody. Really, they don't want him nowhere near Al Heyman, do they? And Al Heyman might just have been having a look himself and might not have wanted to deal with him. But if Canelo's got to see PBC's operation and, his head might be turned. I mean, let's have it right. Is it the 4 or 5 biggest grossing fights ever in boxing? Heyman's been involved in all of them or nearly all of them?
Something like that. I mean, you look at the Mayweather fights, that's it, isn't it? I mean, anything that Mayweather's been involved with, Heyman's been involved with since Mayweather left Top Rank.
So it's going to be very, very interesting moving forward.
You know what? They might have sent Canelo there as a Trojan horse to see, to get an idea what Fox are doing, to get an idea of the contracts, the operations, how everything works, and then come back with the information and then try and structure a better deal. So it might have just been fun, right?
Yeah, they'll have a look at how they do the contracts and what clauses they put in them and things like that. Yeah. I used to see Dennis used to do that all the time. He said, well, we'll have a little look at, see how they go about it and see if we can pick out up. Because it's all about learning, isn't it, really?
Well, it is.
And I think Dennis used to do, I had some back and forward years ago with De La Hoya and Gary Shaw when he was with Clinton. And I think Randy Caballero won that fight. Who did he fight now? Did he fight Stewie Hall?
He fought Stewie Hall when Stewie Hall won.
Yeah.
He blew up in weight, didn't he, Caballero, and lost the title on the scales, but Stewie Hall won the fight.
Yeah. So. No, I'm sure. Did he? Are you sure about that? I'm sure. I thought he beat Seeger, didn't he, Stewie Hall? Well, either way, I know Dennis had correspondence with Golden Boy and Gary Shaw, and you've got. It's all about educating yourself, isn't it? I mean, Don King.
Stewie Hall lost in Montenegro to Randy Caballero.
Yeah. But the point I want to make is it's all about learning off other promoters, seeing how they do business. And maybe Al Heyman wanted to have a little sniff around Canelo's team and see how they work. And Eddie Hearn would have said, yeah, go on and speak to Al Heyman. He would have liked to play it like that. Mecca is not bothered, but trust me, mate. We all know what happened when Carl Frampton went with Frank Warren. Eddie Hearn were on his knees, mate. So he will not want Canelo anywhere near Al Heyman. But Al Heyman's now going to squeeze him out. I mean, what can Eddie Hearn deliver for Canelo? Didn't we have a little bit of a chat about this yesterday?
It's Bivol, John Ryder. Who else is there? Bubu Andrade. They're all interesting fights to the US audience, whereas Al Heyman can deliver the 160 Charlo. He can deliver Caleb Plant. He can deliver David Benavidez in all Mexican fights. Two of the best Mexicans in those weight divisions fight against each other. So those are massive US pay-per-view fights. The other thing is, of course, who knows? Canelo might do his own deal with Canelo Promotions with Fox.
You think?
He might not even do one with Eddie. He might just do Canelo Promotions with Fox or Showtime, and they might use some PBC guys or draft in some other guys, because I imagine, look, Canelo wants to be on mainstream television, not on an app which nobody has in the US.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see what happens, but I don't see this DAZN taking off. And all these that are hanging out the back of Eddie, they're all going to have egg on their face because you know what? When he bails out of boxing, where do these lot go? Where do they go?
No
Nobody,
idea, but I mean,
nobody.
look, you know, think about some of your mates, right? Or the older generation, which boxing demographics tend to be older rather than younger people watching, because younger people watch UFC. How many of them are going to download an app on their smart TV to watch a channel just for boxing? Because a lot of the stuff why we watch boxing is, casual fans like my mates or others, they might see something on Sky Sports News or they might see promos and they know the fight's coming. Whereas the zone will be only reliant on social media, so you following these certain people, or then newspapers writing something. But again, people, if you're not following boxing, you're not going to know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that he's gone there for money and he's probably had a massive fee to join. He's already had a good do out of him already because he did all the money in it first 2 years, didn't he? He were overpaying people like Tommy Coyle.
Well, look, it's free money, right? When you're playing with house money, it's like you go into a casino and somebody says, "Here's £400 worth of chips. Whether you win or lose, doesn't make a difference, right? It's not his money. It's not Matchroom's money."
Yeah. Yeah, I see where you're coming from. I see exactly where you're coming from, but I don't know. I think that I think he's in a bit of a tight spot. Him, old Walter Mitty.
Yeah, agreed. I mean, he needs to deliver for DAZN, right? If the numbers don't go up, if the subscribers don't go up, DAZN are going to put their money somewhere else, and maybe they get out of boxing entirely. I mean, DAZN's here to stay, I think, as an app for sports, but it might not be boxing, might not be the route to do that. Maybe they start investing in rugby or another sport.
Mm.
But ultimately, they can't grow it by just boxing. No boxing app has worked in this country. If you look at, Fight Zone numbers probably aren't what we think they are. Box Nation, which was basically DAZN 1.0, Box Nation failed and went bankrupt. So, the model of just having boxing on an app just doesn't work. It doesn't matter who's fighting. Frank Warren had a very good stable back in the Box Nation days, right? That's where we got the Gale against Groves and, all those other sort of good British fights before, I guess, during the heights of boxing when Carl Froch was in Sky. Box Nation had some really good fighters and they had international fights as well.
Big shout out to Woody who emailed me this morning. How are you doing? Is it David Wood? I hope you're well. Where does Frank go? Where does he sit with all this now? Because it's fair enough he's got Joe Joyce into position and it looks like Sam Jones is sort of like leaning over towards BT now, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, look, I watched the Frank card on the weekend. You've got Hamza Shariz, who's a very good young fighter on the off-world level. Echo Esserman performed really well against Chris Jenkins, very talented fighter. He signed about 3 or 4 really good young kids. Shout out to young Sonny Ali, who signed there, met him last summer. Very nice kid, switched on, good amateur pedigree. He's only 19, 20, just signed with Frank Warren. So I think with Frank, the thing is BT are trying to sell off their sports business. So whatever happens when they sell off that sports business, whoever acquires that sports business might say, we don't want to invest in boxing, or they might say, we want to invest more in boxing. I think with Frank, the proof will be what Olympians can he sign from this cycle, because that's the next generation. And if all the Olympians, so McCormick's and Ben Whitakers and, others end up going to Matchroom, then that's not good for Frank. So I think Frank really needs to make a big run at somebody like a Ben Whitaker and McCormick and try and build around that, because he's got quite a few young kids and they're all going to come through. And Joe Joyce, he'll still attract attention. Dubois still young, he can come back. So yeah, I think it depends on what he can sign in terms of Olympians to get that momentum back that he lost when Yard lost and then Joyce lost as well. Sorry, Dubois.
Fraser Clark.
Oh, nah. Too old.
You think he's too old, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, and he's been an amateur for too long.
Yeah, this is what happens when maybe he didn't trust his own ability.
Well, he'll be younger than Joyce when he turns over, but you know, he's a 29. Let's see how he does in the Olympics. He hasn't even fought his first fight yet, so.
Is he 30 next month?
Yeah.
Well, let's hope he gets a medal at Olympics because he's from around here.
Yeah, look, he seems like a nice kid, and you know, you want Brits to do well in the Olympics. Yeah. Watched Ben Whittaker this morning, boxed beautifully. Karis Arting store just before we came on. She's going to get a medal, so we want Brits to do as well as possible. But it's just more a case that what can they do as pros? Like I was watching that. Who's the guy they call the scout Lomachenko, Peter McGrail. I watched him and he got done in the first round, and he just didn't look particularly good. But might have been a bad day in the office. But you know, some of these Olympians, I'd say 20% will make it to a sort of world level, and a lot of these fall off. So you remember your Tom Stalkers and, you know, others.
I was just about to mention him, Tom Stalker.
Yeah.
People were saying he was nailed on to win a world title, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly. So some of these fall off, and it's a bit of a lottery, but there's 3 or 4 of them that you really want to sign, and, you know, Frank needs to sign those guys, and they can't just end up going to Matchroom. But obviously, there's another dynamic here at play, which is 258, who could sign them and, you know, put them on Joshua undercards on Sky.
All right, then. David Allen, a.k.a. the White Wino, was seen with some teenage boys in the Cheeky Bar at the weekend in Doncaster, 4.5 weeks out from his fight on Dennis's show. Is he living the life?
Well, I'm still not convinced he's going to box.
I'm not.
And I just don't think the medicals will necessarily let him box. So that's why he did that YouTuber fight or that fight, gimmicky fight. So
PR stunt.
Yeah, look, his fight against TBA. Everybody else on the card has been announced, to my knowledge. I mean, Anthony Tomlinson's fight against Dante Jardin. We've got Kane Saville fight against Michael Gomez Jr. So Dave Allen's third off the top of the card, and he's yet to fight against anyone.
Do you feel
to be named?
Do you feel that? Obviously, I know somebody went up to him a while now and said, "What are you doing in here? You're supposed to be in camp." And he said, "Oh, I had to get out of the house because of my mental health and that." Look, well, nobody's saying he was pissed up or out because my mate said he didn't see him drinking or out like that. He didn't look. He just went up and pulled him. "What are you doing out here?" And he obviously mentioned about his mental health, got to get out of the house. Fair enough. But do you feel that Dennis is just using Dave Allen's name now to further the show, knowing that he might not fight on it, or he might just have an exhibition on the night? Do you think that could happen?
I mean, that happens in boxing all the time, and I don't blame if that's what Dennis is doing. I don't blame him because that's
yeah, but isn't that lying to fans?
Yeah, but everybody does it. I mean, look, it's if you're turning up to watch an 18-5 and why is it 18-5 guy, Dave Allen?
18-5-2.
Yeah, if you're turning up to watch him and you think he's going to have a serious fight or title run, you probably deserve to be conned. A lot of these fans are silly enough that they'll pay money just for names.
I'd like to see Dave Allen fight Gorman. I think that's a good fight, that.
Yeah, that's a good fight. I think Gorman needs to make a bit of a statement.
I think Dubois, he missed something there when he knocked that Dubois fight back. All the hype around Dubois, and Dave were asking for too much money. He'll take that to his grave because I think Dubois then was ready to be beat, wasn't he?
And he soured the relationship with Eddie as well.
Oh, who did? Dave?
Dave, I think.
Oh, you mean pulling out of that fight down south?
Yeah, that, and also, you know, negotiating with Dubois. I don't think Eddie particularly liked that.
Well, look, you've got to look after yourself, haven't you?
Oh, you do. But, you know, wasn't he meant to get a gig on DAZN and, you know, commentary and work at Matchroom and stuff? He's been cast off now, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been cast off because sometimes people get too comfortable in a certain position and they listen to people saying, oh, you're part of Matchroom Furniture, so you think you can do what you want. It's a bit like Tyson Fury. He's became too comfortable running around just spouting anything he wanted like his dad. And then eventually, boxing fans are fickle. They turn on you, don't you? One day you're cock of the north or cock of the walk, the next day, a feather duster man.
Yeah,
and that's what happens. And it's a damned indictment of the sport that we love so much. Terry Thompson, the stepfather to East Keel Brook or Kell Brook, supposedly in hush talks with Eddie Hills, the 4-0 Iceman from Billericay, free by way of, to make the fight Kell Brook against Amir Khan. Is it a dog with fleas, and are we interested?
No, we're not interested. I certainly am not. I'd probably watch it still, but I'm not interested.
Dave Caldwell's running around telling people that he'd still buy it if it were on pay-per-view.
Yeah, of course it would, because that's what he's been told to say, right? I mean, these people don't have their own opinions. These people don't have their own. They say what they've been told to say.
Yeah,
They grown men, fathers of children, and they
grown men.
They listening to what somebody else tells them to tell, and they go in and conning the public. Isn't that funny, right? Grown men with no opinions of their own.
These are ex-boxers being told what to do. Boxing's the only sport where the lions are afraid of the rats. Hey, unbelievable.
Imagine if Gary Neville and Jamie Carragher on TV saying to us that, you know, Crystal Palace against West Brom is the best game ever. It's pay-per-view. It's brilliant. It's a great idea.
It's craziness, isn't it? It's craziness, Rico. Okay, then. Well, listen, I believe you're off up north, aren't you, to a wedding?
Yep.
You're going on train. You're a train man, you, Rico, aren't you?
I am a train man.
Yeah, you like to go.
You know what? Driving up there is 5 hours. I could get a train for 2.5, 3 hours. I could just sit there, watch my iPad, and.
Are you going up with Jess?
Yeah.
Go on, lad. Hotel, yeah.
I'm a groomsman. I'm a groomsman, so we.
And hotel beds are all right, Rico, aren't they?
Let's hope they're not too squeaky.
Go on, Rico, aka horse.
Hey, I'm not Johnny Nelson. Leave that moniker to Johnny Nelson, all right?
Johnny Nelson, Jesus. I wonder what's happening with Johnny Nelson. Johnny, come see me.
I'm sure Johnny will be telling us that the next YouTube fight on Sky is the best pay-per-view ever.
I want to see what's happening with Sky, you know. I'm missing Bean, you know. I never thought I'd miss Bean so much. I mean, Smido and Dale Nichols missed Bean that much. They went to darts at Blackpool just to hover around him.
What did they? Didn't they have the plaque for why won John Fury fight against Mickey Theo?
Yeah, when the dart play were coming out and Sky were filming it, they were in crowd and they went with big signs and it said John Fury versus Mickey Theo signed the contract or Theo Fury or something like that. But you've got to give them the credit. The good sports, aren't they, Smido and Dale Nichols?
Yeah. Shout out to Boxing Asylum, Dale Nichols.
Yeah, and Smido.
When's Dale next on channel?
Do you know what? He hasn't been on for a bit, and I get quite a lot of emails. I don't think Dale goes on Boxing Asylum. Smido, he's a part-time moderator on there, but or a contributor. I don't think Dale goes on there much. I get a lot of emails, people asking me, oh, when's Dale back on? Because he's like a stat man, isn't he?
We like Dale. He's a different character.
He nails it with stats. He knows everything about pay-per-view. What numbers they did, who did the most, if, when, where, how much. He is Dale. Come see me. He's welcome on, but I think he's going to be a father soon, so he's got a lot on his plate at the moment. But he's
Congratulations, Dale.
Congratulations, Dale. We thought you were a Jaffa, like Rico. But
hey, I'm not firing blanks yet.
You're not finding what?
Blanks.
No. Yeah. You're still young enough, Rico. So Dale's welcome on here, but yeah, I look forward to having Dale. When Dale comes on, we could have it as a pay-per-view, couldn't we? A super chat. Yeah. Oh, can I apologise to the gentleman called Kaluki, because I put a video out of the night on live, just want to record it in the morning and put it out at night on live chat, and it came through and it said $4.99 donation. That's the first ever donation that I've had on a live chat, and I thought, what's going on here? And I didn't know if it was like a joke or something, so I apologise, but it weren't a joke. But I didn't know that it was shows you out what I get to know what goes fucking on around here, doesn't it? I didn't know that you could do that. I thought you had to be live for that. So thank you very much. £4.99.
We can do a super chat one day. I remember did Boxing Asylum when they did super chat, and I think it was the 100th episode or something, and you came on and the donations were flying through the roof. Everybody was donating.
Yeah, because I'm a bit controversial, and obviously I'm not going to say everything I could, but I do throw a few tidbits every now and then, and it keeps the boxing hardcores happy, doesn't it? I suppose.
I remember watching the first time we were chatting. It was years and years ago, and I was on holiday in Portugal. I was watching some videos of you because we got chatting on Twitter, and you were sitting there, and you were there with your big chain on and your jacket, and you were heavyweight then, not like a super middleweight like you are now. And
heavyweight.
Still the sunglasses on with your big chain, spouting boxing, and yeah, it was good old days.
Yeah, back in the shed.
No, this was before the shed.
Oh, really? Oh, right. Yeah,
this is like 7-8 years ago. You were your first YouTube, like you've been interviewed by.
Oh, you mean I know where you mean. In Ryan Road's gym, have I got a green sweater on? Yeah.
Was that Bayloric TV?
Ingram, yeah. I think that was when I first started with Dennis, or a year after that. So start with Dennis now 2015. I think that might have been 2016, 17. So I think it was 17. Yeah. Ryan Road's gym up here. And Johnny Nelson, they had a gym, didn't they?
Ryan Rhodes was hosting the big John Fury night up your neck of.
Yeah, well, Ryan Rhodes, what sort of person's going to put that on? What's John Fury bring to the table to have an evening with John Fury, an 8-4-1 journeyman?
Hey, he's an ex-gangland enforcer. He's a bad man.
Not true. Sold second-hand vans all his life from a traveller camp.
He's X-rated. Don't forget that.
Well, if people can squeeze a few quid out at public, putting him on, good luck to Ryan Road, but that is not my cup of tea. And all them people that turned up there, for what? To listen to what? It's Tyson Fury's dad. That's it. What we're going to have next? Anthony Fowler's dad on.
Hey, we'll have tours with Dean White one day, talking about.
But Dean White one. Go on.
Growing up with Dillian and, their childhood and how he influenced his career. We will have, and boxing fans will pay, trust me.
Well, this is how I look at it, right? Good luck to John Fury. If he can pinch a few quid out at public, pretending to be an ex-gangland enforcer, which is not true. It's not true at all, trust me. I will put my life on that is not true. Never been in trouble for anything to be gangland enforced related. Never been to prison for any drug dealing or gangland enforcing. Never was, never did it. Never was. All right? That's the bottom line. Lies, and more lies. I don't know about X-rated, but if you think that knocking a guy about 5'5", 10 stone and poking his eye out, a guy who dropped him twice in a car auction, who's a mate, if that's gangland enforcing, oh my God, well, I must be Al Capone then. All right.
I mean, you know what? He should just fight Mickey Theo and the money.
Fight him and get it over and done with. And all those people who keep sending me death threats and... 12 calls since last night. And the messages, listen, and going on about how Mickey Theo's desperate for a few quid, right?
Mickey's not desperate for a few quid, I'll tell you that.
Let me just say this, right? Multi-SoFly swimming in Cho-Chai. All right? That's all I'm going to say. He's far from it. He's He's getting on for probably got as much dough as Tyson Fury, mate. So forget that regarding it's for he needs a few quid. No, he does not. But he will not be mugged off by John Fury, so he wants to fight him. So what's wrong with that? The man offered everybody out over 50, didn't he?
I mean, he's a fighting man, and fighting men, they fight, they don't talk, right?
Well, Mick trains every day. I've seen him spar. Go ask Jim McDonnell, people like that who've seen him spar, people down in Essex, and it's just he can fight, mate. He can fight. He's strong as a bull, mate. He was doing 200 kilo bench press in front of my eyes, mate. 160, 10 reps on shoulder press behind his neck, like it were a feather. If he gets up close to you, he'd get his arms locked and he'll lift you up. He'll throw John Fury away like a rag doll, mate, up close. He's got freakish power. Yeah, he's not the most fluent boxer, I know, but who is? Carl Froch weren't one. Look what he achieved.
Yeah, and also look, it's John Fury. It's not Carl Froch.
Listen, mate, it's John Fury we're talking about here, and you've seen John Fury fight on my channel, haven't you? I've seen him fight close, so he's got no to come against Mick, and he knows it. But he shot his big mouth off, didn't he? And Mick said, yeah, please, I'll take that challenge, John. And the rest of it's, oh, and you know what I get? You know what I get fed up of every single day? 40 and 50 messages. Mickey were offered it in a gym in Manchester and he didn't turn up. How sad are these? These people are fucking fanatical, aren't they?
I mean, look, they are the same type of people convinced we are doing so well not to get some money off this video, but you swore at the end, Ross.
I know, yeah, we don't matter. But what about this other one? Mickey's been offered it, and why? And he didn't turn up at this gym. Well, who's going to get paid?
Why turn up? Because they won't get any money, would they?
And then these people saying, why don't he turn up at a seminar? So John Fury's got a seminar. So if Mick turns up there with me filming and some of his security company that he owns, right? So he could probably go get 8 or 10 blokes if he wanted to, like that. So they all turn up. So the police come. So who's the motive weeks? We're making it. So Mick and everybody there, we're all on a freight charges, aren't we? So you're going to have whoever John's with, probably have 3 people in a car with him. So they're all going to be at it. John's not going to want to get at it. He'll want to stay out of the way. No to do with me and all that because he don't want to go back to jail. I don't want to go back to jail. Mick don't want to go back to jail. So that's not going to work, is it? Nobody's going to get paid. And then you're going to have people who've had a beer that are going to be there on the night. They're going to feel, because they're a captive audience, a big John Fury, they're going to want to wade in, aren't they? It's going to be a free-for-all, isn't it? So all you gimps from Gimpville Island who keep saying turn up at a seminar, what the fucking hell was he want to turn up there for? It'd be a free-for-all, wouldn't it? The agreement were the fight Queensberry Rules, May 28th last year, for charity. John Fury moved the fucking goalposts and said, forget May 28th, come to this gym tomorrow at 10 a.m. Oh, it's not on, it's off. John Fury nipped it in the fucking bud because he didn't want to fight Rico. That's what happened. I know from in my heart. I've seen texts and stuff like that from people around John to me. I know what happened. Since then, Mick's had foot to the floor. He's had it pressing on it on his neck. So, but he's got till 14th for August. There's a surprise for him this Friday. But 14th for August he's got, and if he don't sign the contract, I'll get that Spencer Brown from Blackpool to get in touch and get it all sorted. Leave it. That's it. He's proved his point, Mick. Then, and John Fury will forever be known as the man that shot his mouth off as this big fighting man, but don't fight now. He's going to these events now. I've heard back, very, very humble, Mr. Humble, because he didn't speak out now about being this big fighting man, didn't he? So if anything, I've changed his perception of his life now, because he'll think twice before he opens his pie hole, won't he, in future? Yeah. He'll think twice about calling me a fucking blowjob around Dennis and Peter. You know what I mean? Stupid fool. But it is what it is.
Anyways,
we've
had a good chat.
I hope you're well, Rico.
I am. Shout out to Mick.
Shout out to Mickey Theo. Shout out to Big John Fury. Big fighting man that don't fight, X-rated. End off, bum. Don't know you. Don't want to know you. End off. I'll tell you another thing. I'm fighting Mike Tyson as well, because Mike's a fucking proper fighting man. Not a jumped up bodybuilder like you. So get plenty of juice down your juice head. End off, bum. You like that one?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, then, mate. And on that note, peace out. Cheers,
like and subscribe.
Yeah, like and subscribe. And don't forget to join our members area. And if you're struggling how to work it, just go onto your computer and press the join button. If you can't do it on your iPhone, it's because it's not geared up for it on there. You need a computer, but we're not bothered if you don't join, as long as you share the videos. But if you can't afford to join, save your money and get your missus a bottle of wine.
All right, speak to you soon, mate. Take care.
All right, bye. Bye. Oh, well, RIKU. And I've got a meeting now with a gentleman from Rotherham. So, okie dokie. Thank you for watching the video. Peace out.